pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Do the roll call. Filkins?
Here.
Champlin?
Here.
Van Lente?
Here.
Smith? Peterson? Mr. Peterson won't be here tonight. Schichtel?
Yes.
Greg?
Here.
Fint? And Fint won't be here tonight. And Putvin. Okay, we have a quorum. We'd like you, we have one item basically other than the approval of the minutes on the agenda, and that is a public hearing from Mercantile Bank. Hi, John.
Hello.
How are you?
Great.
So I just need somebody to approve the tonight's agenda.
I approve tonight's agenda.
Okay, and the support?
I'll second it.
Okay, Van Lente, second. Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, the agenda is approved. Next item, well, we have our public comments, but I think these two ladies are here tonight for the sign regulation, so there really isn't anybody else, so we'll just keep moving on. And then we have the, last time we met was April 28th, 2014, and you have the meeting minutes that were in your packet. I need somebody to make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
Okay, motion by Champlin, supported by Schichtel, to approve the minutes of 4/28/14. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay. All right, well, we'll get right into it. We have just one item, again, on the agenda. This is a public hearing, and I'm going to take you through the PowerPoint. We do have representatives here from Valley City Sign and Mercantile Bank, so after I'm finished, if you have any questions, or I think it's appropriate to give them an opportunity to talk. In other words, we'll open up the public hearing for public comment. As noticed by the first graphic on the PowerPoint, what you're looking at tonight is a special use permit. The bank is asking for permission to erect what is known by the ordinance as a pole, or in some cases it's called a freestanding sign. And the sign will be located at Mercantile Bank of Michigan, which is right across the street here, at 114 West Pine Street. And let me take you through this. The applicant is Mercantile Bank, located at 310 Leonard Street Northwest in Grand Rapids. As noted, the subject property is Mercantile Bank here in Cadillac, formerly First Bank. And the address again, 114 West Pine Street, Cadillac. And the applicant's representative, according to the application, is Valley City Signs, and they're located on West River Drive in Comstock Park. Your role tonight is to, per the ordinance, you'll be conducting a public hearing at tonight's scheduled meeting for the receipt of comment on the sign or the placement of a pole sign. And should note that this sign, as you'll see in a few minutes, will be replacing an existing monument sign. And again, this was all in your packet. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but up in the corner, this is the existing monument sign, and this is a graphic representation of the proposed sign that's being proposed. One of the things that I want to stress is that you're not looking at a variance per se. Pole signs are permitted in this district, provided they meet the special land use standards of the ordinance based on your findings. So don't want to misconstrue this or have you misconstrued as, well, they're seeking a variance. They're not. Again, the signs are permitted, provided you authorize it based on compliance with the special land use standards that we'll be looking at. The basis for Planning Commission review, this property is Zone B2, Central Business District, and Schedule B, Section 46664 of the city zoning ordinance provides that pole signs in the B2 district shall be subject to review and approval by the City Planning Commission as a special land use. That's why it's coming to you. Why are pole signs a special land use in this particular district? I think in part, the majority of the district is really not conducive to pole signs. For example, a lot of the district is located along Mitchell Street. And there are no locations for most of those stores on Mitchell Street for the placement of pole signs. Basically, along Mitchell Street, all you see are projecting signs or wall signs. It's not until you get off Mitchell Street and some of the areas on either side that you begin to see larger lots, greater setbacks, building setbacks, where there is some opportunity for pole signs. So because the general character of the B2 district is as it is, instead of just allowing pole signs by right, for some reason, years ago, the framers of the ordinance decided they should be subject to approval by you folks. And I think largely to make sure they're consistent, compatible with the location that they're being proposed for. This particular sign, and we'll see another graphic of it in a second, does meet the requirements of the ordinance. Has a display area of a little over 26 square feet, almost 27. A height of 13 feet, that's the pole, and what some people call the sign box, or the area where the actual sign will be located. Has a height of slightly less than 10 feet between the ground and the bottom of the sign box. A pole width of a little over 32 inches by a little over 17 inches. Per the application, the leading edge of the sign, the top part, will be set back at least 1 foot from behind the edge of the sidewalk. The actual pole itself will be set back, I think I calculated 3 plus feet. And the sign itself will be internally lighted, as is the current monument sign. There's there's a representation of the sign that's being proposed. Not sure how well you can see this, but an overhead of Mercantile First Bank in the sign location. Basically, it's right there. Essentially, it's more or less in the same location as the existing monument sign. Why is the applicant, requesting a pole sign? And they can get into this more completely than perhaps I can or will. Excuse me, but basically it's to improve the visibility of the site by off-site motorists and pedestrians, people who are traveling nearby Mitchell, Pine, and Lake Streets. The bank would like to be a little more visible. And you'll see I took a few of the photographs that they sent us, the applicant, and you have the full set in your packet, but you'll see that there are a variety of issues that impact the ability to see the current monument or freestanding sign due to a variety of factors. But there are competing public signs, typically parking lot signs that interfere with the visibility of the existing monument sign. There's the limited setback of nearby buildings, and as you get further away from the bank location, this becomes more paramount. There's vehicular parking on Pine Street that blocks the existing sign. And very importantly, when snow accumulates, the sign, to a degree, is almost obliterated. Here's the existing bank. You can see the First Bank sign, kind of just above the snow in there. But let's go through a couple of photographs here. Here, if we're looking to the west, we'd be looking. We're not exactly on Mitchell Street. We're essentially almost right across from the alley and the city parking lot and so forth, but looking to the west, and essentially you can see the First Bank monument sign, but it is somewhat difficult. If you were traveling Mitchell, you probably wouldn't see it. Another shot, just to kind of, if you're a vehicle, let's say, or if you're traveling in a vehicle, again, the parked cars, for example, essentially obliterate the sign or block views of the sign until you're right up on it. Again, we're looking west here. A little cursor down here. And here's a shot looking east. This would be, across the street, for example, would be the Chamber of Commerce. And you're looking up Pine Street towards the east. And again, you can see if you see that flag, if you go down, you can see there the top of the sign, the current sign, but it is a bit difficult to distinguish. The bank itself, I think we all know this, but it's a one-story brick office building of fairly recent construction. The building was designed, and it fits the office character of some other buildings found in the surrounding area. Has some similarity to the Cadillac administrative offices in terms of material and so forth. Cadillac Chamber of Commerce, the medical office across the street, and so forth. In terms of its location, the sites to the south of the bank, which would be the city parking lot and the Chamber of Commerce, and to the west, which are some multifamily dwellings, rental dwellings, and a medical office. They're all Zone B1, auxiliary business. And then to the north, there's a private parking lot. I should say a parking lot, and the area in that location is Zone B3. So the zoning and land uses surrounding the area are consistent with what's with the bank. Essentially, the ordinance details a series of review standards that the Planning Commission uses to make a determination as to whether or not you should approve a requested special land use. And what those standards are geared towards doing is ensuring compatibility, consistency, and capability of the site to sufficiently handle and serve the proposed use. Signs, quite frankly, don't fit the special land use standards very well. Special land use standards, and you'll see that in a second, special land use standards are geared more for uses, okay? Like a certain type of retail business or a commercial business, and so, as opposed to features like signs. But nonetheless, that's what we have to use per the ordinance. And again, you'll see that in a second. I'm going to go through these quickly again. These were all in your packet. First of all, the first standard is the special land use, the sign, shall be designed, constructed, operated, and maintained in a manner harmonious with the character of adjacent property in the surrounding area. And these are staff's findings, by the way. And basically, staff finds that the proposed sign has been designed consistent with the architectural design quality and scale of the bank building, and is anticipated to be operated and maintained in a manner harmonious with the character of adjacent property and the surrounding area. In other words, staff feels it meets that standard. Second standard, the special land use shall not inappropriately change the essential character of the surrounding area. Again, we feel that it meets that standard. As noted, the sign will replace an existing monument sign, so there's already a sign there. And again, the proposed sign has been designed consistent with the architectural quality and scale of the bank building, and is anticipated to be operated and maintained in a manner harmonious with the character of adjacent property and the surrounding area, just like we read previously, or noted previously. And staff feels the sign is not anticipated to change the essential character of the surrounding area. We don't think it'll have an impact at all, other than a higher quality impact. The special land use shall not interfere with the general enjoyment of adjacent property. Again, the sign will replace an existing sign, so it's not as though there hasn't been a sign there before. The sign will be located directly on the site of Mercantile Bank and is not anticipated to interfere or impact adjacent properties. The site is surrounded by a public street on the south, a public parking lot to the east, an alley access drive and bank circulation lanes to the north, and bank circulation lanes to the west. The sign is not anticipated to interfere with the general enjoyment of these should be properties or features. Again, staff feels that it meets the standard. The next standard, the use shall represent an improvement to the use or character of the property and the surrounding area, yet also in keeping with the natural environment of the site. Again, I won't go into all this one. Again, it's replacing an existing sign. Staff feels it's been designed consistent with the architectural quality of the bank building and the character of the surrounding area. And the sign won't have an impact on the site's natural environment. Effectively, over time, urbanization has basically obliterated any natural environment. So everything has been urbanized in this location. We're getting through here. The use shall not be hazardous to adjacent property or involve uses, activities, materials, or equipment which will be detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of persons or property through the excessive production of traffic, noise, odor, fumes, or glare. This is where a sign, for the most part, it could have maybe a potential glare impact, but for the most part, signs really are not applicable to this particular standard. As indicated, the sign will replace an existing sign that is already internally lighted. Staff feels the sign is not anticipated to represent a hazard to adjacent property or create the excessive production of any of these factors that in turn could or would have a negative impact on surrounding properties. The use shall be adequately served by essential public facilities and services, et cetera, et cetera. Again, this standard is generally not applicable to a sign request. However, the property owner, Mercantile Bank, will be responsible for the construction and maintenance of the proposed sign as required by the Cadillac City Code. And I think demonstrated on the past, they've done an excellent job of maintaining their site and associated features. The next standard, the special land use shall not place demands on public services and facilities in excess of current capacity. Again, the sign really doesn't fit this particular standard, but again, staff feels that this particular standard will, in fact, be met. Almost done. The special land use shall be consistent with the intent and purpose of this chapter and the objectives of the currently adopted long-range comprehensive plan. Essentially, signs per se are not well addressed by the comprehensive plan, nor should they be necessarily in most locations. But in having said that, the use of the subject property, the bank, is very consistent with the city master plan as well as the zoning ordinance. As you know, because this is a special land use, we were required by state law and our local ordinance to place a notice of the public hearing in the Cadillac News not less than 15 days prior to the hearing. We did that, as well as notify surrounding property owners and residents within 300 feet of the subject site of the hearing tonight, and we did that. And there have been no return communications or calls from as a result of any of those actions. Your action tonight is really based on a determination of compliance with those standards that I quickly went through. It's your responsibility to approve with conditions, or deny the special land use application filed by Mercantile Bank for the placement of a pole sign based on as submitted or based on the application, and the proposed sign will replace an existing monument sign. And again, there's the sign in terms of how it will look once it is erected. Again, staff feels that the sign meets the standards, special land use standards of the ordinance, would recommend approval without the establishment of any conditions. If you were to agree to make a motion accordingly, the motion should read that the sign, as proposed by Mercantile Bank and is submitted, in their application, be approved. So, we do have representatives of the bank and Valley City Sign here tonight. So, with your permission, Planning Commission, we'll open up the public speaking portion of the hearing. And if you folks have anything you'd like to add, please step up, give us your name and address, and go at it.
Hi, my name is Melanie Gray, and I'm from Valley City Sign. We are located in Comstock Park, Michigan, on West River Drive. And just a couple things I'd like to point out about the sign. We think it's a very distinguished, quiet sign. The coloring is not loud, crazy purples, oranges, greens, We've got very basic colors. And then also at night, I want you to realize that the only thing that will illuminate is the lettering and the triangle. The black will not illuminate. So it's not going to be very bright and, annoying to anyone. We did recognize that the existing sign, which has a white background that illuminates, so probably gives off more light, but we did recognize that was kind of ineffective in Cadillac. I came up here in the middle of the winter and could not even hardly find the sign because it was so buried, and took most of the pictures that were brought up on the screen. And very, very much during the winter, the snow almost covers it. The snow piles up on the curb are higher than the sign. And then also the parking, which was in there. And then one other thing, the screen makes the sign look very wide, It's only 8.5 feet wide and 13 feet tall. It's a little bit skewed in that representation. I did bring some drawings, if I can.
This is a
Oh, you
pretty
got them.
in
Okay,
perspective.
just so you're aware of that. It just looks a little bit wider. And then I've got Lisa Swanson from the bank, and I'm just going to let her tell you about people finding the bank. So.
I'm Lisa Swanson. I'm the branch manager of the Office Mercantile Bank. And the sign is definitely an issue that we have currently because we do have people that, especially in the winter when the snow piles up, will drive by and then have to come back because they've gotten to the chamber and they've gone too far, so they have to turn around and come back. So that does happen, and the visibility from Mitchell Street is an issue when you're giving directions to people who aren't familiar with downtown Cadillac. So I think this will be a big help when it comes to that, because they can come around the corner and easily see the sign as opposed to the monument sign that's there currently.
You have any questions of these
I've got
folks?
one. What about the address pole? Is that gonna be next to it, or is that going?
That's
out?
the
That's
end.
street side.
That's the side view of the sign.
Oh, okay, right here.
So as you drive down, you will see the 114.
Okay.
The only question I had was the lighting, but you had confirmed what I had already figured out, that it looks like from the design, it'll be less bright than the current one. So, and with the black backdrop in it.
Any other questions? If not, we'll
Good
close the
name.
public speaking portion of the hearing, and we'll allow you folks to deliberate too.
I don't see a problem with
I
it.
don't either.
I don't see any problems.
I would-
I'd like to make a motion. Whatever, what should we say in it, that, the application and the sign?
Here's what we can say. I
Specification?
tell you what, let's see, how about, this is your motion. Based on the determination of compliance with the standards of section 46-747, the planning commission approves the application filed by Mercantile Bank, yada, yada, for the placement of a pole sign per the application at 114 West Pine Street, Cadillac, Michigan.
Just like I wanted to say.
Very good.
I second that.
Randy seconds it, okay.
What's that?
Motion by Smith, supported by Van Lente.
Nope.
Me.
I mean, I'm sorry.
It is
By
supported
Champlin,
by me, but-
by Champlin, forgive me, to approve the special land use request of Mercantile Bank based on the wording that we just read. Any discussion, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion has it. Very good. Thank you, folks. Okay, folks, there's no new business, no old business, no table items. If you want to make any comments, now's the time. Otherwise, that's all we have.
Are they still working on that park that's down here, just past the boat ramp? Are they gonna do something?
The Rotary Performing Arts Pavilion.
No, the other one, the playground.
Oh, yes, yeah, there, in fact, thank you. Yes, the council is going to, I think, approve the bids, I believe,
Okay.
at the upcoming meeting, so, yeah.
I had a question too, Jerry, and I know when I was reading the minutes that you all talked about it briefly, but there's been a lot of conversation about us being able to figure out how to get snowmobilers into the downtown area in the winter,
Right.
so that they can park their machines, and not down by the lake where they can't see them, but
Right.
a little closer to the businesses. Is there an opportunity for us to put together a group of people or to seriously start talking about that?
Yeah, in fact, it's a good question. In fact, Marcus, the city manager, he was in discussion with, I don't know, one or two individuals who actually wanted or were willing to participate on a committee to look at, what options or opportunities might exist. Yeah, I think there is. I think, it's a toughie, and largely because the city was never developed, or when it was developed, snowmobiles were not in existence and so forth. And but Alpena, for example, they've been accommodating snowmobiles. There've been some issues there, but Yeah, I think there's some real possibilities to look at some opportunities. One of the biggest issues with bringing snowmobiles into the downtown is, will they have free reign of the downtown? Or will they go to certain locations? And, well, I'm another business location, I want them coming to my business. And so I think it could be looked at. I think it
I
should
think
be.
that's why it would be some healthy discussion.
Right.
If we put a good group of people
Sure,
together that would represent business, would represent the citizens, would represent.
Right. And we have had at least 2 downtown business people that have inquired about, the possibility of allowing snowmobiles into the downtown. And another issue that you have too, and again, I think there should be discussion, is how will it impact Cadillac West? That basically thrives on snowmobile traffic, during the wintertime. So, but I think it would make good discussion. I think, it's something we should talk about.
And and I'm glad that we don't lose sight of what it would do to Cadillac West, but if we're going to have people investing in downtown
Right.
Cadillac, we also want to
Right.
make sure that
I
people
agree.
have a choice.
Yeah, I think it'd make for great discussion. Good. Anything else?
Where the swing sets were taken out on Chestnut? Is all the big concrete and stuff still in there? I just ran by there today and I forgot to look.
I don't know, Dave. I'm not
Seems to me-
handling that, so I don't, it's probably gonna come out if it is, but I know the swing sets are out.
Swing sets have been gone, but there's been a
Right.
big old pile of rubble.
Yeah,
and
there's,
concrete and all that stuff in there.
they'll be, well, they're gonna be putting in a resilient kind of surface in the actual playground area, because it's going to be a universally accessible and barrier-free design, so I'm assuming a lot of that's gonna come out. I know there's excavation that's going to happen, I'm not that familiar with the
Is that
project.
something Al's handling?
Yeah, Al's handling, Al is responsible, as is, Public Works in general is responsible, Al and Tara, so, but if you talk to Al, or talk to Tara Vedler,
Okay.
she's intimately familiar with the project.
Just seems to me it's kind of an eyesore and a
Yeah,
slip and
no,
fall
she's,
type thing.
yeah,
especially
she's
at night.
intimately familiar with the project, so
Okay.
she can tell you all the nuances associated therewith. Anything else? We're adjourned. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.